Thanks for joining us for a real quick look at The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson.
Yeah, so you may have noticed that on our YouTube channel, we started with the book Piranesi, doing a quick video recap of books that we've done a longer form review of on our podcast. And so this is our version of that for The Loop.
Here is a quick look at the synopsis for The Loop. Stranger Things meets World War Z in this heart-racing thriller as a group of teenagers attempt to survive the night in a town overcome by a science experiment gone wrong. A small town nestled in the hills of Central Oregon becomes the epicenter of an epidemic of violence when the teenage children of several executives from the local biotech firm become ill and aggressively murderous. Suddenly, the town is on edge, and everyone must do everything it takes just to survive.
All right, so we just finished recording our full length review of this for our podcast. So it's very fresh in our minds. So, Livius, hot take. What are some of your favorite things about The Loop?
All right, so I want to talk about one thing that's not my favorite first, if that's okay. I absolutely hate this Stranger Things meets World War Z. I hate it every time a publisher does this. Comment below if you like these weird marriages of two other things that aren't the thing that you're talking about. I also don't really think they fit so much in this book, but that's not what you asked me. I think the character relationships in this book are really, really good. The characters themselves are great. The pace is tremendous, and there is just a shit ton of violence. And you know what? All really enjoyable. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm going to try not to echo things you said too much. One of the things I think, and absolutely I think the strongest part of this book is primarily the protagonist, Lucy. I think is an incredible character. And in our full review, I said that she is my protagonist of the year so far, if not beyond 2020. So very strong main protagonist, but that carries on to pretty much the length of all of the other characters as well. The character development, and like Livia said, the interplay between characters, fantastically done, and that made the book just like a delight to read. Beyond that, it gets pretty crazy, and it incorporates a lot of things, but the plot is so tightly written that everything, regardless of how insane it sounds, fits and works, and it just contributes to making the plot good. So as out of control as some of the things seem, it works really well because the plot is so tightly written. Otherwise, anybody who's a fan of kind of freaky, disturbing violence is really going to enjoy this, because the deaths and the violence and all of that stuff is signature Jeremy Robert Johnson, complete insanity for sure.
The one other thing that we agreed on without saying too much is we both absolutely loved the conclusion of this book. And this type of story can go either way on the ending. And Johnson definitely went in the right direction for both of us.
Yeah.
So who's this book for? This book is not for everybody. So you've got to be into some pretty twisted stuff. So it's ultra violent. It's ultra graphic. Fans of Richard Lehman, for example, probably really enjoy this book.
I'd agree. I would put Brian Keene on that list. So if you've read Brian Keene stuff, you're probably prepared for some of the more disturbing things that happen, but also you're prepared for a really well crafted story. So I would put that on the list as well.
Yeah. In general, we talked a little bit about the movie Outbreak, which is a little fitting for some of the themes of this book. So that's a movie for you kids that are watching that came out like 25 years ago and had Dustin Hoffman as a CDC scientist. Fans of the zombie genre, so that like survive at all costs, would also find this book appetizing.
And one other I would throw in the list would be anybody who enjoys the author John F.D. Taff. I think he kind of hangs out in the same area as Jeremy Robert Johnson as far as the breadth of the types of things that are included in one of his stories, but also just like a level of craftsmanship, the way that the story is written. But definitely like the weird and out there elements are If you like John F. D. Taft, this would be something you'd enjoy checking out.
So when we did this for Piranesi, it was really easy. We could recommend that to just anybody. So this one, not likely to recommend to my mom to read, like I might recommend Piranesi, but for anybody who's a fan of the horror genre, tech horror, anything graphic, anything that's fast paced with a lot of action, I would highly recommend this for those people. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that. I would say that, and this is something that I don't typically do, and I joked about this when we were talking about this earlier. If you There's some things that I think you would like this better than. So if you've read some of those Daniel H. Wilson like Robopocalypse books and stuff like that, uh, I'm not saying this is similar to those books in any way, but if you liked those and you want to step up your game to something that's like definitely a step in the right direction and improvement, if you like those science fictiony apocalyptic type stories and don't mind wandering into, like Livia said, the horror genre a little bit, this is definitely going to be a step up as far as craftsmanship, storytelling, character development, all of those things. So if you're reading that type of stuff and you want to move up to like the logical next step, maybe check this out as well. Highly recommended to, like, I'm going to agree with Livius as far as who I would recommend it to, but this is a great book that definitely should be on people's reading lists.
Yeah, the other thing that should be on your list right now is heading down below and hitting the like button, subscribing to this YouTube channel, and commenting. Let us know if you read The Loop, what you thought of it. That's what we saw in Piranesi, is people commenting after they read it, which is perfect. Ask a question if you've got one, and we'll try to get back to you. But help these two brothers out, right? So do it for Rob. He's over on that side, I think. I don't know if that's the side. We haven't quite worked out the bugs yet. But definitely give us that thumbs up, comment, and like this video. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to point out. We mentioned that we did a long form review of this on our normal podcast. Sometimes on our Patreon, we do what we call spoiler talk, where we go into a little bit of an additional conversation about the book, about spoilers that we can't talk about on our regular review. For The Loop, we did do that. So if you are one of our Patreon supporters, $2 a month or more, you can go over to our Patreon and check that out. If you're not, and that's something you're interested in, patreon.com/booked. If you're supporting us at the $2 or more a month level, you'll have access to that spoiler talk. Plus, I did the math recently. I counted. I think there's 54 other books that we've done spoiler talk for. So plenty of content. Once you sign up for that $2 a month level, you're going to get all those spoiler talks. You can get everything that we've put on there in the past. So definitely, if you're interested in going as far into detail with the discussion that we had about this book, you're going to want to check that out.
Thanks for taking, I don't know, 10 minutes or so to listen to our kind of quick look at The Loop. We'll be back periodically with these. Probably won't be for every book, but the more comments we get on these, the more likely we are to do them in the future. So do the right thing. Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks.